Can you briefly go through how to structure the site architecture for the directory? Well, it really depends on the platform that you're using. With the WP GeoDirectory, which is what I use, you have a few different options, but the way that I have it set up is just set up for, let me just give you an example. I'll do it over here.
Oh, hey, Bradley, is the redirect updated?
Yes,
Cool.
but it was updated late. So, what am I looking for? Sorry, I'm looking for one of the new locations that I had set up, and I'm just looking for the page URL so I can show it. Oh, for God's sakes, I don't see it off the top of my head, so I'm just going to go back into um, the actual site to get it. I was running late today, so that's why we got the redirect set up late and everything else. Anyway, so I'm going to go into companies and just grab one of the URLs so that I can show you what it is that I'm talking about. There's a couple of, I'll show you where in WP GeoDirectory it gives you the option to select how the URL structure is set up. I do have some, if you're not using GeoDirectory and you're going to use like a custom developed directory or something like that, or you're just a WordPress site that you're going to kind of create a whatever, I can give you some pointers on it that would perform better. I'm not crazy about WP GeoDirectory. It's just the platform that I've been using now for over 4 years, or well, I guess the first year and a half I was on a different WordPress theme than I was than WP GeoDirectory, but I ended up switching to this one. So for at least 2.5 years, I've been using this one. All right, so we're going to take a look at that URL structure very quickly. All right, so you can see, sorry, my screen's small, but let me just copy it, put it in a notepad file. Got it. Oh, God damn it. Get out of the way. Fucking Zoom. All right. Zoom back or grab the screen again and then we'll take a look at this. So, all right. So this is what I'm talking about. Like the way that WP GeoDirectory works is you're going to have, this is the custom post type. So the whatever you can adjust that slug. I think by default, I think it's company, but you could do contractors, firms, clinics. You could put anything that you want there. And then you can select the URL in the URL, like how much geography hierarchy do you want to include in the URL? So for example, if it's a multiple country project, you can have the country in there, I believe. I think you can. I'm not 100% sure because I only use it in the US, but I think you can put a country in there. You can also do a state, possibly a county. We'll go in and look at the options in a minute, but then you can definitely do the city. So what I usually do is just, as you can see, I just have it set up as company, and then I have the city, because then we have the company name as the slug for the listing itself, right? And so the reason why I did not include the state is because the more folders or directories that you add into a URL, the kind of weaker the final post is. In other words, as it receives internal link equity from the taxonomy structure, the structure of the hierarchy of the categories, subcategories, et cetera. And in this case, they're company categories and location categories. The more directories or folders that you put into a URL, so the further away it goes from the home page, from the top level, then kind of the weaker it gets. And so I wanted to keep it very basic. And that's why I just did whatever this company slug is, that again, that can be modified. And then I just did the actual, the city that particular business is located in, right? So that's kind of the way that I do it. Now, I did some consulting with potential client. He's not a client yet, but I did some consulting with him that they're going to, it's a cybersecurity company, and they're developing their own directory site that they're building with their own kind of, not in WordPress is what I'm saying. And so they asked for some pointers on how to structure it. And so I gave them some examples of how to structure at the service category level. So like whatever, products or services they're promoting within the directory. So the service categories, and then how to also add location categories. And if I can, I I don't know that I could pull that up and show that without spending some time cleaning up the file because I don't want to give away his project yet. But so this is again, let me just show you where you would see that in there. If we go into WP GeoDirectory settings, we're going to go into the settings here. And let's see, how do we do this? I don't mess around in here a whole lot, so, but I believe you get to select it. Enable locations, country. Yeah, you can have multiple selected countries. Then multi-regions, which is regions means state. Then there's city. So you can enable multiple cities. You can restrict this to be like, so for example, why would you have these different options in the GeoDirectory? Why do they have them is what I'm saying. Well, because if it's a city-specific directory, then you could eliminate a lot of these or disable a lot of these options, right? Because then there's no reason to have multiple regions, that's states. If it's all in one city, then that's going to be in one state, right? At least usually. So again, depending on the types of the way that you want to set it up in GeoDirectory, which if you just go to WP GeoDirectory, directory.com, I think it is. Yeah, they have under their support, they have their documentation in here somewhere. I don't know if maybe it's the community forum. Yeah, in here. So this is where you can get support. And once you're logged into their dashboard too, they also have some documentation that you can use to then go in and kind of configure the WP GeoDirectory with the URL structure the way that you want it. Okay. So that's all. Like I said, I kept it quite simple because I didn't want to mess with it too much, and I didn't want it to be a super long URL structure. It does make sense though to add in the state sometimes as well, but like I said, that makes it a bit longer than I would prefer. So I left it like this. But GeoDirectory kind of it's somewhat restricted into your customization options for it. Whereas if you were doing something, using another platform or building your own custom solution, then you would have a lot more freedom or control, so to speak. So, all right, moving on.